Well, welcome to another episode of Homeschool for the Soul. I'm Kevin. It's good to be back with you guys. This week, we're going to be talking all about change management. Obviously, a lot going on in our world and in our lives today. And so as we think about a lot of the change that's facing our world, we're going to look at the lives of several different people this week. And today, we're going to be with Jim and Sherry Anderson. Today, we're going to be looking at their story as a couple. They have experienced quite a bit of change because all of their kids have flew the nest. And they've had quite a few that have been leaving home and have left home, and so we're going to talk with them today. So Jim and Sherry, I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourself. Tell us a little about what you do, what you guys been up to.
Okay, I'm Sherry Anderson. I am a stay-at-home mom, and we have 7 grandchildren, 6 kids, and we do have one left at home, Kevin. We do still have Jamie.
That's right. We can't forget about Jamie, one high schooler.
About Jamie, she will be highly offended.
That's right. Yes.
So that's me.
And I'm Jim Anderson, and Sherry works full-time. I work part-time. I am in public education, and then with a family of 6 children and 7 grandchildren, we stay very busy, and also happy to be busy with real life as well.
That's right. Well, you guys are such an integral part of our church. What's been the best part about having most of your kids, kind of leave home, go off to college, go off to their lives?
Well, I can tell you this. Jamie doesn't think it's so good that she's the only one home. We think it's great because now there's only one that we need to focus on, with the others that have left and left the house. But she was a little frustrated that she was getting so much attention. She decided that we needed to have more of a dating life. So she was going to set that up for us so that we'd be not putting so much time and attention on her. And I think that is something that is a significant change, is there is more time. Quite often you're so busy running around to the high school events, the church events, the sporting events, that there's little time for the relationship sometimes, little time for your own self-growth. So more time, I think, is something it's been cool.
What is something, a lot of people are experiencing change in their life right now. So, it might be that, people are about to have kids go off to college and they're going to be empty nesters for the first time. It could just be that they're experiencing change due to other circumstances. What would you say to someone on how to really navigate change in their life, to really deal with that change?
Jim and I talk an awful lot on walks and things like that. Yep. And just, I think open communication and not just feeling it and trying to deal with it on your own, whether it be, your spouse or a friend or, someone in the church, just plain talking about it. Yeah. Change is hard, whether it be good or bad. Change is hard. So
I'd say, the talking about it and then extending that to talking to God, a prayer life, life of contemplation, reflection, or, having that kind of inbuilt quiet time. And that looks different for a lot of different people. But I think that's also important because then that inner dialogue and that dialogue with the still small voice that we sometimes are able to hear certainly helps with the ups and the downs. It's like waves. At times, emotions can be overwhelming with the change. And you feel like you're flooded and it's high tide and there's no way out. But then the tide does go back out. And then there's a period of time of maybe more ease, if you will, a greater sense of well-being. And so riding the waves. And then with all the changes that even tonight, we're going through a change, right? As we're having this conversation, we're getting alerts on our phones and our watches about you're quarantined at 6 o'clock and how are we going to navigate that? And, I think one of the phrases that's really come to me is the sun's going to rise tomorrow. And how we greet it is really the thing that we have something to say about, perhaps, internally. So.
Yeah. Well, I love that. I mean, and I think so many people in this season of life maybe are feeling a little bit isolated, particularly because we are quarantined to our homes. And I think a lot of people have had a lot of questions on how to find that community. And I think what I hear you guys saying is that community is so important, not only with each other and with your Savior, but I know you guys are also part of a small group. How has your small group been a big part of this kind of transition in y'all's life as well?
Yeah, so it's been a challenge, the small group. I mean, because we have a group of families, and they're each going through the change themselves with their children coming back and job situations. And so it's been a good part to be able to connect, and then to kind of just see we're all in the same boat, if you will. I mean, our boats are more similar than other people's boats because there's a metaphor on that happening right now. But yeah, it's been good. It's been a source of encouragement. And at the same time, it's been a challenge to maintain that connection, because I think the term Zoom fatigue sets in. We're on our screens so much for work or school, even church. We're so ready to be in person, live, connected.
Well, it sounds like, you guys are obviously kind of navigating through this, and you've got each other, and you got a lot of grandkids to keep you busy, in the days ahead, and even more, I'm sure, to come. So yeah, it's been really, really cool to get to talk with you and get to a little bit hear about your perspective. But do you have anything other things you want to say for us today?
The one thing that I default to, and my kids will tell you, is the analogy of the hands. And even Pastor Jim has used this before. Are we holding things like this so God can give and can take? I think is what Pastor Jim has used before. It's a powerful metaphor. And there's times in your life when you want to grab on and hold on to and remember things. And that's okay to do that. But then on the other hand, you're holding it loose. And so there's just that relationship of hanging on to things and then learning when and how to let go of things. And I think we see that, Philippians, we've learned to be content when we have much and when we have little. And just riding the tide, riding the waves. And seeking again, and you mentioned it, Kevin, the community is critical, and we are blessed to have the real life community where we just get to love people and be loved by people. And and then see that in action on so many different levels. I don't think we were made to go this alone. So having each other, having faith, having our family, and then having the larger community, both work and church, is critical.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just to summarize, it sounds like, for when we're experiencing change in our life, whether it be, kids moving out of the house or family changes or life changes, it's always good to have communication, to chat with someone and talk with someone about that, obviously it's chat with our Savior, to spend some time in prayer and contemplation and reflection, even, through a daily quiet time or out on a walk with a friend. And then finally, just to have that sense of community, whether it's in our church or in a friend group, and to be able to share and to have that communion together is really important.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. And we'll look forward to seeing you in person, hopefully soon. And until then, blessings.
Blessings to you. And thanks for the opportunity to share.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see you guys.
Bye.
Take care.